lesson 3.3, estimating products. I think it's probably the best idea to start with the vocabulary. And there are two new words that we haven't really talked about. You probably heard them. They're underestimate and overestimate. An underestimate is when the numbers you estimate are less than your original answer. No, I'm sorry, your original number. So let's look at this. If I have 32 times 61, you probably need a calculator to find out that that's 1,952. But if I just say, well, 32 is about 30, 61 is about 60, I can do that in my head, and I get 1,800. It's pretty close. But you can see that since both of my numbers were less than the original numbers, my answer is going to be under the original answer. So therefore we call it an underestimate. An overestimate has the same definition, except it's when your numbers are greater than the original number. So let's look at this. 27 times 49. I take my 27, turn it up to 30. 49 is up to 50. 30 times 50 is 1,500. It's close to the real answer, but I can do it in my head. And since both the 30 is greater than 27 and 50 is greater than 49, it's going to be considered an overestimate. Now, I can't stress this next one enough. It is very important to show your work. You have to show your work. Your answer may be different based on the numbers you multiply. So if, for example, this one, you turned this to 50, but this you thought was closer to 25 and wanted to use 25, you could do that, but then your estimate is going to be different than what the estimate that I get or that the book gets. And so you need to show me. If you show me what you used and it still makes sense, then it's right. But if you were to just write down a different number and not show me how you get it, well, then it's probably going to be marked wrong. Let's do some practice. For this one, I want you to estimate and say whether it's an overestimate or an underestimate. So let's look at the first one, 57 times 68. Pause your computer and say whether you're going to estimate or what numbers you're going to estimate it to, and is it going to be over or under. All right, let's see if you were right. The answer would be you'd take the 57 and round it to 60. 68 you'd round to 70, which gives you 4,200. And since both 60 and 70 are over the numbers you originally had, that's an overestimate. Let's look at the next one, 22 times 34. Right, 20 times 30. So 2 times 3 is 6. Add 1 0 here and add a second 0 for that. And that is an underestimate since 20 is less than 22 and 30 is less than 34. Let's look at this third one. Ooh, that's a little bit different. What are you going to do with the 10? Let's see if you can figure it out. See, you know exactly what you're talking about. The 10 would stay the same, and you'd only change the 98 to be 100. And 100 times 10 is 1,000. Again, the strategy that we used in the last lesson, you multiply the leading digits. 1 times 1 is 1, and then you add the zeros. Here's 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, 3. All right, and that's an overestimate also, because the 98 was bumped up to 100. All right, we went through that real quick. If you have any questions, please ask me. I'll see you tomorrow.